Joshua, Part 1. God commissions Joshua. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people. Joshua assumes command. And Joshua commanded the officers of the people, pass through the midst of the camp and command the people, prepare your provisions, for within 3 days you are to pass over this Jordan. Rahab hides the spies. And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men secretly from Shittim as spies, saying, go view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab. Then the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, bring out the men. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hid them. Now then, please swear to me. The 2 spies swear to spare her life along with her household. And she said, according to your words, so be it. Then she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied a scarlet cord in the window. Israel crosses the Jordan. The Lord said to Joshua, today I will begin to exalt you in the sight of all Israel. And when the soles of the feet of the priests bearing the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of the Jordan. The waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from flowing, and the waters coming down from above shall stand in one heap. Now the priests bearing the ark of the covenant, the Lord stood firmly on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan. And all Israel was passing over on dry ground until all the nation finished passing over the Jordan. 12 memorial stones from the Jordan. When all the nation had finished passing over the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, take 12 men from the people, from each tribe a man, and command them, saying, take 12 stones from here out of the midst of the Jordan, from the very place where the priest's feet stood firmly. And he said to the people of Israel, when your children ask their fathers in times to come, what do these stones mean? You shall let your children know, Israel passed over this Jordan on dry ground. The new generation circumcised. Though all the people who came out had been circumcised, yet all the people who were born on the way in the wilderness after they had come out of Egypt had not been circumcised. When the circumcising of the whole nation was finished, they remained in their places in the camp until they were healed. First Passover in Canaan. And the day after the Passover, on that very day, they ate of the produce of the land, unleavened cakes, and parched grain. And the manna ceased that the day after that they ate of the produce of the land, and there was no longer manna for the people of Israel. The commander of the Lord's army. When Joshua was by Jericho, and Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped, and said to him, what does my Lord say to his servant? And the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, take off your sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy. And Joshua did so. The fall of Jericho. You shall march around the city, all the men of war going around the city. 1 second. I'll start that one again. The fall of Jericho. You shall march around the city, all the men of war going around the city once. Thus you shall do for 6 days. 7 priests shall bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. On the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. And when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, you shall hear the sound of the trumpet. Then all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city will fall down flat. And the city and all that is within it shall be devoted to the Lord for destruction. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who are within her house shall live. because she hid the messengers whom we sent. Israel defeated by Ai. But the people of Israel broke faith in regard to the devoted things. For Achan, the son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some of the devoted things, and the anger of the Lord burned against the people of Israel. So about 3,000 men went up from there, from the people, and they fled before the men of Ai. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of the Lord until evening, he and the elders of Israel. The sin of Achan. The Lord said to Joshua, "Get up. Why have you fallen on your face? Israel has sinned. They have transgressed my covenant that I commanded them. They have taken some of the devoted things, and he who is with the devoted things shall be burnt with fire." And Achan answered Joshua, "Truly I have sinned." And Joshua and all Israel took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver and the cloak and the bar of gold, and his sons and daughters, and his oxen and donkeys and sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them up to the valley of Achor. They burnt them with fire and stoned them with stones. The fall of Ai. And you shall do to Ai and its kings as you did to Jericho and its king. Only its spoil and its livestock you shall take as plunder for yourselves. Lay an ambush against the city, behind it. And I and all the people who are with me will approach the city, and when they come out against us, just as before, we shall flee before them, and they will come out after us, until we have drawn them away from the city. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Stretch out the javelin that is in your hand toward Ai, for I will give it into your hand." Joshua renews the covenant. At that time Joshua built an altar to the Lord, the God of Israel, on Mount Ebal. The Gibeonite deception. But when the inhabitants of the Gibeon heard that Joshua had done to Jericho and to Ai, they on their part acted with cunning, and went and made ready provisions, and took worn out sacks for their donkeys, and wineskins, worn out and torn and mended, with worn out parched sandals on their feet, and worn out clothes. And they went to Joshua in the camp of Gilgal, and said to him and to the men of Israel, "We have come from a distant country, so now make a covenant with us." So the men took some of their provisions, but did not ask counsel from the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them and made a covenant with them. At the end of 3 days after they had made a covenant with them, they heard that they were their neighbors. Joshua summoned them, and he said to them, "Why did you deceive us, saying, 'We are very far from you,' when you dwell among us? Now therefore you are cursed, and some of you shall never be anything but servants, cutters of wood and drawers of water for the house of my God." The sun stands still. As soon as Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, heard how Joshua had captured Ai, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel, he feared greatly. So Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, to Param, king of Jarmuth, to Japhia, king of Lachish, and to Debir, king of Eglon, saying, "Come up to me and help me, and let us strike Gibeon, for it has made peace with the people of Israel." And the men of Gibeon sent to Joshua the camp in Gilgal, saying, "Do not relax your hand from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us." And the Lord said to Joshua, "The Lord threw down large stones from heaven on them. Do not fear them, for I have given them into your hands." At that time Joshua spoke to the Lord in the day when the Lord gave the Amorites over to the sons of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, "Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ajalon." There had been no day like it before or since, when the Lord heeded the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. 5 Ammonite kings executed. These 5 kings fled and hid themselves in the cave at Makkedah, And Joshua said, Roll large stones against the mouth of the cave, and set men by it to guard them. Then all the people returned safe. Then Joshua said, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring those 5 kings out to me from the cave. And afterward Joshua struck them and put them to death.